Imagine stepping on the scale today, following a strict menu for less than 2 weeks, and seeing yourself 22 pounds lighter by day 13. That is the promise attached to something often called the astronaut diet. The name makes it sound precise, scientific, and possibly designed by people who can land a spacecraft on another planet. But there is one problem. It is not an official NASA weight loss program. So the real question is not, can the number on the scale fall quickly? It can. The better question is, what are you actually losing, what happens after day 13, and did this diet earn its astronaut badge, or simply borrow the spacesuit? A scientific review of fad diets found no evidence that the so-called astronaut diet was ever used to help astronauts lose weight. One version described in the review provided only about 400 to 500 calories per day for 3 days. The 13-day plans circulating online are not standardized NASA protocols. NASA's actual position is almost the exact opposite. For astronauts, losing weight during a mission is usually a problem to prevent, not a goal to celebrate. NASA nutrition researchers have explained that inadequate calorie intake in space can contribute to unwanted losses of muscle and bone, along with other physical stress. Maintaining body weight, eating adequately, exercising, and protecting bone density are major priorities. In other words, astronauts are not floating around the space station surviving on black coffee and half a grapefruit. They are doing hours of demanding work while scientists try to make sure they eat enough. So why does the diet appear to work? Because a bathroom scale measures total body weight. It does not provide an itemized receipt. Your weight includes body fat, muscle, water, stored carbohydrate, food moving through your digestive system, and several other components. When a diet suddenly cuts calories and carbohydrates, multiple parts of that total can shrink at the same time. Think of your body as carrying several storage tanks. One tank contains fat. Another contains glycogen, the stored form of carbohydrate. Glycogen is held mainly in the liver and muscles, and every pound of glycogen is stored with roughly 2.7 pounds of water. When carbohydrate intake drops sharply, glycogen stores fall, and some of their attached water leaves with them. That can create a dramatic early change on the scale. Eating much less food also means there is temporarily less material inside the digestive tract. Changes in carbohydrate and sodium intake can shift additional body water. Put those effects together, and someone may lose several pounds before a large amount of body fat has disappeared. The scale is not lying. It is simply refusing to explain itself. This is why a person can lose weight quickly during the first few days of a crash diet and then regain part of it soon after eating normally again. Restoring carbohydrate increases glycogen, glycogen pulls water back into storage, and the scale rises. That returning water is not the same thing as instantly rebuilding several pounds of body fat. Now consider the headline claim, 22 pounds in 13 days. 22 pounds of pure body fat represents an enormous amount of stored energy. Even rough calorie calculations would require a daily deficit greater than the entire daily energy expenditure of many adults. And those simple calculations are already too optimistic because the body adapts as calorie intake and weight change. So could somebody's scale show 22 pounds less after 13 days? Under unusual circumstances, especially at a high starting weight or with major changes in water balance, a very large scale drop might occur. But that does not mean 22 pounds of fat vanished. A substantial portion could be water, glycogen, digestive contents, and lean tissue. The exact mixture would vary from person to person, which is one reason a universal promise is scientifically weak. And here is the catch hidden inside the impressive before and after number. The faster the scale moves, the easier it becomes to confuse speed with quality. If the goal is fat loss, losing muscle is not a bonus. Muscle supports strength, movement, physical function, and energy use. Rapid loss diets can reduce muscle and water as well as fat. Medical guidance warns that losing more than 1 or 2 pounds per week is not considered safe for most people and may cause problems including fatigue, nausea, constipation, diarrhea, gout, and gallstones. Gallstones deserve special attention because they are not just a vague warning placed on a diet label. Rapid weight loss can increase cholesterol release into bile and interfere with normal gallbladder emptying. Very low-calorie diets and repeated cycles of losing and regaining weight may raise the chance of gallstone problems. Then there is the psychological trap. A 13-day plan creates a finish line. You endure hunger, repetitive meals, social inconvenience, and low energy because the calendar promises freedom on day 14. But day 14 is where the real test begins. The diet may tell you exactly what to eat during the restriction phase while teaching almost nothing about grocery shopping, restaurant meals, stress eating, sleep, portions, exercise, or maintaining weight afterward. It is like preparing someone to sprint through an airport but never telling them where the flight is going. When the rigid rules end, hunger may be stronger, normal foods may feel unusually rewarding, and old routines are still waiting at home. People who lose weight extremely quickly are also more likely to regain it over time than people using less drastic changes. That does not mean rapid weight loss is never used in legitimate medicine. Very low-calorie diets may be used for certain adults with obesity when there is a clear medical reason. But those programs are supervised by health professionals, often use nutritionally formulated meal replacements, and may require monitoring or medication adjustments. That is completely different from downloading a 13-day menu and treating it like a NASA checklist. The difference is not willpower. The difference is screening, nutritional adequacy, medical oversight, and a plan for what comes next. So what should replace the 22 pounds in 13 days target? Start by changing the measurement of success. Instead of asking, how much can I force the scale down before a deadline, ask, what routine could I realistically continue 3 months from now? Health authorities generally recommend gradual weight loss of around 1 to 2 pounds per week because people who lose weight at that pace are more likely to keep it off. Healthy weight management also involves eating patterns, physical activity, sleep, stress, medical conditions, medications, genes, hormones, age, and environment. It is not a single food puzzle with one secret answer. For many adults who have overweight or obesity, health professionals often focus first on losing a modest percentage of starting weight rather than chasing a dramatic number. For someone who weighs 200 pounds, losing 5% means about 10 pounds. Losing 10% means about 20 pounds. Even that more modest change can provide meaningful health benefits, and it is commonly approached over several months rather than 13 days. That target is less exciting than 22 pounds in 13 days. It also has a much better chance of still mattering on day 113. A sustainable approach does not need to be flashy. It usually means building meals you can repeat without feeling punished, choosing foods that provide adequate protein and nutrients, creating a manageable calorie deficit, staying physically active, including muscle-strengthening exercise, sleeping consistently, and adjusting the plan when real life interrupts. Because real life will interrupt. There will be birthdays, travel, late meetings, holidays, and at least one restaurant meal where the salad contains more calories than the burger. A useful plan has to survive contact with Tuesday night. And remember that body weight is personal medical territory. Anyone who is pregnant, under 18, older, living with a health condition, or taking medications should speak with a qualified health professional before attempting severe calorie restriction. A registered dietitian or clinician can help determine whether weight loss is appropriate and which pace makes sense for that individual. So here is the verdict. The Astronaut Diet is not a NASA-approved shortcut. A severe 13-day restriction may make the scale drop, but the change is unlikely to represent 22 pounds of body fat. Much of the early movement can come from water, glycogen, digestive contents, and potentially lean tissue. The number may be real. The story attached to the number is the misleading part. Before trying any rapid loss challenge, ask 3 questions. How much of the promised loss is actually fat? What evidence supports the plan? And what happens when the countdown ends? A diet that only works while you are suffering through it has not solved the problem. It has rented you a smaller number on the scale. And the bill usually arrives after day 13.